This is London with MarketHedge. Let's pay attention to Bitcoin, how to pour down here over the Asian session. I want to talk about a potential upside target, a downside target, and a trade I just missed out on. I'll talk it over with you, see if you guys still like the trade. But yes, this is London with MarketHedge, former hedge fund owner, private non-SEC, not financial advice. You'll see this specific framework that we were in. I'll caution you at any point in time that we are outside the right-hand side over this edge of support. Just caution yourselves that these specific pickups can be dangerous, extremely dangerous. The more and more you see and identify levels of support, levels of resistance, and you refrain from going too heavily trying to catch this falling knife on the right-hand side of any specific channel formation, the better off you're going to be. Now, that's not to say you can't throw at it. Just make sure it's within your own personal risk, let's say within your own personal risk profile, and that the funds are really part of, guys, something that you're going to count as disposable. Nice move to the downside. We'll call that recompletion to the flat top resistance. So the question now will be, can the bulls pick back up and assemble a hit back into this 115, let's call it 115,000. It's an included 1 hourly line chart, level of support, triple hit, included in that it's recessed from this secondary, call it a secondary or primary really, if this is the primary here, level of support on the hourly, and we'll call that the secondary, which is why we would say it is included. So we're requiring for that hit for the bulls to push back up in and around to that 115 again, and it could be against the weight of, let's just say the weight of momentum and control right now. Looking at the 4 hourly RSI, this was the pickup right here, and I did miss it. We were working on some technical issues in the back with BTCC, and I just missed that specific trade. I threw in a lot of liquidity over the weekend, and Bitcoin decided to eat up some of the profits that it's been so fortunate to give me and, guys, a lot of you over the preceding number of weeks. But I'll tell you, guys, in terms of heavy cash reserves, I mean it, okay? In terms of never overexposed, I mean it. If you're going to sweat your position, just don't trade it, guys. It's not worth it, okay? You can have $5 or 500 or 5,000 or 500,000. If you're going to sweat it, if it's too much, just don't trade it. And when I say 1/3, pay attention. When I say 1/3 on an RSI move, that means 1/3. Gauge yourself in terms of potential returns. What can happen here? We're on the RSI oversold. What does that mean? Well, one of three things can happen. We're going to say, first of all, the sellers have sold. They can continue to do what? They can continue to sell, right? So we can continue to the downside. Everybody agrees with that. That's one, let's just say that's one thing that can happen. The second thing that can happen, let's just draw a specific 2 over here. We're going to put 3 up here. The second thing that can happen is the bulls take the bears up to about mid-level, and then they regain control, pushing back into oversold turf again, right? So we make it a small swing trade up in here before the bears continue to push down, right? That'd be the second thing that can happen. Then the third thing that can happen, which is really nice if you're going long, but understand, I like to look at this in terms of 1/3, right? Not saying, well, I've got a 90% chance on this. No, guys, look at it and gauge your risk in terms of 1/3, especially if you're looking at accelerated risk and accelerated returns, right? Which we look at in terms of leverage trading. But that third opportunity from the oversold to the overbought, that's the money ticket. That's what we're looking for. But it is what? As a matter of absolute fact, no one's going to convince me otherwise. It is 1 out of 3 options that can occur from where we currently are. So I look at the reduced possibility for it occurring and definitely gauge my risk accordingly. When I say heavy cash reserves, in terms of looking for these accelerated risk and return opportunities, heavy cash reserve means that you can continue to participate in the market. Do not sweat your positions. If you're overexposed in the market will certainly let you know that, because you'll have a bad day. You know that. And not just you, guys. Most of the time, everyone around you, your family, your friends, etc. That is not what trading is all about. And I really caution you guys to step away from that mentality if indeed you're caught up in it. It is not what trading is intended to be. This is London with MarketHedge, former hedge fund owner, private, non-SEC, not financial advice. Let's take a look at the specifics here. And understand, guys, it's one of the riskiest businesses you can be involved in, or riskiest hobbies that you could possibly want to enjoy. And that's one thing we do enjoy. Looking at the, let's just call it the 5 Slamma Jamma. It is the coup de grace here in terms of what we could get. That left shoulder, the head formation, if we can get it. Let me move this over a little bit. If we could rebound from this level, if and only if we can rebound and then break this line at 117, we could call it up at nearly 118 on the wicks. Let me make sure on that. We're going to call it 117. Yeah, it's right at 118. If we can get over this specific neckline, this would be a really nice move. Like a really nice move. The whole market's looking at this because, frankly, we had the inverse head and shoulders to the downside. Everybody agree? Yes. Okay, we had. Now, this is not a real super clean head and shoulders. The right shoulder is a little bit weak compared to the left. Not as symmetrical as we had below here, right? But we do have a head and shoulders to the upside. So the notion that the bulls could engage, get us this 1 out of 3 opportunity, you got it right. Bulls, swing trade, bulls engaging. And yes, get us back up and over after forming this right hand shoulder. That would be the money play. So what are your odds? Guys, look at your RSI. Well, sellers can continue to sell. Okay, if we go down too far, we're going to skip this opportunity on the inverse head and shoulders. The bounce, it's really not going to get us up and over. I'm going to say up and over unless we could bounce once maybe, but up and over that 118, we need that 1 in 3. So that's what we're looking at. Be realistic with your positions. This is London with Market Hedge. Just encouraging you one more time as well in terms of one of the rules that you should adopt. I'm going to recommend that you adopt it into your trading vocabulary and your, I'd say your operations. Anytime that we have a specific, let me take this specific channel out. Anytime that we have a specific channel formation and you find yourself off to the right, understand that you are operating at a definite decreased level of opportunity or probability for pickups in this zone. It's one of the most dangerous areas to scope in your longs. If you're going to, as they say, catch the falling knife, just make sure it's with cash that is intended to be semi-disposable. Is it former profits? Is it just something that you're looking at and it is, don't be careless with it, but just understand if you're engaging with longs in this area that yes, it is money that qualifies as fully disposable. Again, I will reinforce the fact this is one of the riskiest things you can engage in. That's why we do it. We're looking for those accelerated returns and accelerated profits. Along with that, let's say along with the accelerated risk. So not to be underemphasized. This is London with Market Hedge. Let's see what the weekend throws at us. Let's stabilize a little bit and we'll bring you guys some updates. We'll be working with BTCC in the back, trying to work out a few of the little kinks that we had over the weekend. And guys, a new API project. We're bound to have a few of them. So we're looking forward to rocking and rolling later this week. This is London with Market Hedge. Shout out in the comments and welcome back to J-Mac. Nice to have you in the back with Luke. Let's go. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.